Greetings and salutations to you all once again. It is me, the Ravenous Spectre, and today we have another pickups video. Now, one of these, I actually had done a previous unboxing video of it. I might as well just go ahead and show it, since if you look previously in my other videos, Rating Historia Perfect Chronology. This has been one of the main games that I have been playing recently, and obviously there's the box set that it comes in with the decal sheet and the little art book, all of that, really cool stuff. And actually, I ended up going and taking some of the decals, as a matter of fact, as you can see right there. I did it so, you know, when I open it up, it could be facing out and looking straight instead of it being upside down if I were to look at it from the other direction, if you will. You know, so, sorry, I was looking at something there on my 3DS there for a moment, and I was actually downloading a demo for Alliance Alive, which is another JRPG, and I believe it's also from Atlas, and I'm really excited about it. I'm surprised it downloaded as fast as it did. So yeah, I would have actually done this video previously because I thought that Alliance Alive was actually supposed to be out today, and I thought I was going to get it today. And I don't know how it was, but I completely screwed up what the date was. It was actually March the 27th, not February the 27th. Why in the world I've been thinking that for the past few weeks or so now is beyond me. But anyways, I'll do an unboxing of that, but it's going to have to be like, you know, a month down the line, obviously. But yeah, back to what I was saying before I had gotten a little interrupted there. Right here, yeah, Rating Historia, had a brain fart there, sorry. Definitely been loving this game, been playing it quite a bit. It's been one of the main games that I've been playing. Have it on the regular DS. Got about 6 hours into it, got sidetracked with other games, and also I don't really remember what happened when I went back to it. So when I actually got back into playing this again, I was sitting there thinking, how in the world did I mess up exactly why it was I didn't know where I was going the previous time? Because it just seemed so simple when I actually got back to playing this version. So I really don't know. I have no clue. But, yeah, definitely glad to be getting back into this again. Really enjoying it, really loving it. I'm going to see it through to the end. It has a really interesting story, obviously a really interesting dynamic for you going through different, basically 2 different time periods. You take on different side quests. You go through 2 different time periods to actually progress through each one, like you go into one to fix something, to go back to another one, so on and so forth. But also in this, they ended up including the ability for some other stuff like possible histories, as they're known, with like some other characters and things like that, and actually goes more in depth with other different histories that are basically happening that wouldn't happen otherwise in like the base game. Sorry, I was looking at my 3DS over there. It looked like it was freaking out for a moment because it was downloading a demo. But anyways, yeah, so definitely one that you guys should check out. I think my voice just cracked there a bit. Sorry. Definitely one that you guys should check out if you're into JRPGs. I really am loving it. And another good thing that I really do like about it, that's really keeping me engaged with it, is the fact that all the cutscenes are fully voiced. All the main cutscenes with the main characters are fully voiced. Now, some of the minor characters have like little voice snippets here and there, but they kind of repeat themselves when you're in conversations with them, and you pretty much just read the text. But overall, the main brunt of the characters and cutscenes and things like that is fully voiced, so it really immerses you a lot more into it. You know, some people have their thoughts about, oh, well, I don't understand why it is, you know, that JRPGs, especially if they try to take kind of a classic route, why they have to have voice acting in them. Well, it's just a sign of the times. To me, it immerses me more in the character instead of me just reading what they have to say, to really hear the inflections in their voice, to hear the type of emotions and things that are coming out. Because you can just read some dialogue and just be reading it monotone in your head, but you're not really getting that feeling as you would as what the developers and publishers would want the voice actors to portray when they're actually, you know, voicing the characters. So I'm all for that, and it's actually giving me much more interested in the story now than I was previously. So definitely a really good pickup, and it has multiple difficulties as well. I'm actually playing it on easy mode. It almost kind of brings a little bit of like an action RPG vibe when you play it on easy mode, because you can just go in and attack enemies just with a swipe of your sword instead of getting into random battles with them. You do get into battles, though. You do get into turn-based battles. It's not just you going through and swiping through and all that. Obviously, you have to fight bosses, and there's other certain battles that you have to go into as well that occur during different cutscenes and things like that. But overall, it seems like the basis of battle, basic brunt of battles, you could just go and swipe your sword and level up and things like that. So it's much more free-flowing to me, and it doesn't seem like it just bogs you down so much in battle. Yeah, you know, things like that kind of just wearing you out, so to speak. But definitely a really good choice if you guys are looking for a JRPG on your 3DS. The next one I have here is Road Trooper Deluxe, Redux, Redo, Ramalama Ding Dong, whatever you want to say. This was actually a PS2 game that came out. I actually have the PS2 game. I got it for like a few dollars or something. And it's actually based off of a comic series from like the 90s or something like that. Haven't read the comic series, but was really interested in the game. And honestly, when you look at it, you can tell it was a PS2 game. All the environments and everything have a real sharp edge to them, so it looked like it was remastered, you know. But you could tell just by looking at it that it does have those PS2 style graphics and look and all that other stuff. But I guess like the main things that stand out is dealing with the character models, because especially with the guy that you're playing as, Rogue, I believe is his name. When you're playing as him, you can tell like he's really been, it looks like he's been hitting the gym pretty much. It looks like he's more beefier. It looks like he has sweat coming off of him and all that stuff, running around shooting dudes or whatnot. And even the other character models of the soldiers that you face too kind of look the same way. So it's kind of strange really when you're fighting these, especially when you go into the cutscenes too, when you're going and you're fighting these enemies and they look like they're more high def, if you will, than the actual environment is. It's kind of strange. But regardless of that, it seems like it's kind of a typical run and gun, third-person cover kind of shooter thingy, if you will. It is fun. It is interesting. But definitely try to get this. If you're interested, really get it at a cheap price, because that's what I did. I got it for, I think, like $15 or something like that, I believe. So definitely, if you're interested, it's just a kind of a normal third-person kind of shooter, at least from what I've experienced so far. There's a couple little turret sections, you know, where you're on a huge gun and shooting down vehicles and things like that or enemies. But the thing is, though, is really, you know, don't get it at like a high price or anything like that. But anyways, yeah, so definitely one to look into if you guys are looking for like a third-person shooter kind of thing on your PS4. The next one I have here is Batman Return to Arkham. This is Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, both in the same package. They have all the DLC for both of the games. And as you can see here, much to my surprise, usually you would see stuff like this happening on the 360 back in the day, but it has 2 discs. And given the Blu-ray technology, you would think that both games would be on 1 disc, but it's not. It's on 2 discs, which kind of surprised me a bit. Maybe they were just a little too large to be on 1 disc, and they had to put them on 2 of them. But definitely really interesting to see. Ended up getting this, and I had been really interested in the Arkham series. I actually had played, I've seen Arkham City in action. I played a little bit of Asylum. It seemed like I really couldn't get into them. But then I got Arkham Knight really cheap on PSN, went and got that, played that, was kind of getting back into it again. Haven't gotten around to playing either of these, and one reason for that is basically it's kind of the same game, at least from what I can see from one game to the next, except there's probably just like a few different things that are different in each one. But I am going to get back around to basically probably really getting into Arkham City, considering I've already played some through Asylum back on the PS3. But yeah, definitely, I ended up getting this on a trade-in as well. So definitely ended up getting a really good deal on this. I think it was probably about like $20-some or something like that. But if you guys are into Batman, if you guys are into comic-related video games, things like that, or if you're just really looking for like a really good compilation, if you will, then definitely one to pick up, especially considering the fact that it has all the DLC in it. And another thing is, I've never really been a person who's really gotten really deep into comic books before, but Batman has kind of been one of those characters that really has intrigued me. Just given how the fact that he could pretty much run the gamut of like, he could be something that's, you know, for kids, or then he could go to be something that's for adults or something for teenagers. You know, his character and the way that he's implemented really can determine like what type of crowd that he can go for. You know, because I guess that's why one of the cool things about Batman is you can kind of tweak him and torque him, if you will, to how you want him to be for what audience you're aiming for. But definitely something to get into if you're into like third-person beat-em-ups, if you will. And anyways, we got 3 more here, and this one I actually ended up getting as a Valentine's Day gift from my girlfriend, and that is Shadow of the Colossus. Now, I had demoed this a little bit on the PS2 because I actually got it as a birthday gift for a friend of mine, or an ex-friend of mine. He's a, you know, we're not going to go into that. It was an ex-friend of mine years ago. got it for him, demoed it at his place, and yeah, it was it didn't really interest me. I kind of tried to play it, but it didn't really get to me. So I just kind of sat there like, okay, well, here you go, guy. You can go ahead and start playing it now, because he wanted me to try it out. But then when it came out on PS3, I didn't care anything for it. Finally, when it came out on PS4, I was like, okay. I said, I think I'll finally just go ahead and give it a shot. The game is freaking gorgeous. It looks really good. It's really, it's the only, I'm liking the game, but I have to take my time with it. There's only so much patience I can have going against these Colossi. I actually done maybe 1 or 2 streams already, I believe, with the game. But the thing is that, yeah, the main 2 things that stand out in this that really pissed me off, and probably everybody else that I've talked to about it, is the camera and the horse. The horse is stupid as fuck. He truly is, and the camera is stupid as fuck. I swear, you know, they go and talk about this being, basically you consider this to be a remake. I mean, the way that it looks and everything, you might as well just go ahead and consider it to be a remake. But they sure as hell didn't remake the controls for the damned horse and the controls for the damn camera. They didn't. I don't know if they were going to come out with a patch or something for it, which it shouldn't be a fucking patch. It should be in there to fucking begin with. Sorry, I just ranting a little bit there. But honestly, the game is fun. It's beautiful. It's interesting. All of that. When I first started out, I went through to try to explore as much of the world as I could. Some areas I was going to, I knew I was going to face Colossi in, but I couldn't at the moment because of the fact that, well, you know, they weren't there. You have to fight the Colossi in order. You can't just go wherever you want to whatever Colossi you want to, which actually I thought that's what it was, but it's not. But it would be cool if that was the case, because then you could just take them down in whatever order you want. But the thing is that I was going around getting these lizard tails at these save shrines that you could go to, which you can save manually if you want to. Otherwise, it'll just save automatically if you end up going to these save shrines. I think it saves automatically, period. But anyways, when I was going to these save shrines, you have to go and eat the tails of these little, like, silver-tailed lizard thingies to be able to increase your grip meter when you're grabbing onto the Colossi. I really didn't know too much of a difference, so I don't know what the point of it was, so I just kind of stopped doing it. But the thing is, though, is you can actually increase your health when you go to these different fruit trees that you find around the world as well. Now, for some odd reason, that actually shows where your health is increasing. But when I did it with the grip meter, it wasn't showing me nothing. It's like it would flash, and then it seemed like it wouldn't go up any at all. But when you would go and actually eat the fruit to increase your health meter, it would seem like it would go up. Usually, the larger clusters of fruit that you eat, or the larger fruits that you eat, you'll see it go up quite a bit. Or if you eat smaller ones, it'll go up just a tiny bit. But you can actually see progress with that. But the grip meter, I have no freaking clue. I mean, I've noticed my grip meter has gotten a little bit bigger, though, when I took down one Colossi after a next. I've noticed that. But as far as those lizard tails, I don't know. Maybe you have to actually beat a Colossi and then go eat a lizard tail to increase it some, and so on and so forth. I have no freaking clue. But anyways, the bottom line is, if you guys have been putting this on the shelf for a while, go ahead and give it a shot. Yes, you have to deal with Argo, the stupid, idiotic fuckface of a horse, from time to time. But, and yeah, if you know how to control the camera pretty well, then, you know, God bless you for it. But the thing is, though, is they have different controls in this as well. They have modern remapped, and classic remapped, whatever. I pretty much got to the point where I was doing modern remapped because the regular modern controls that they came out with in this seems like it really wasn't doing it for me. And the hell with dealing with the classic controls, because I've heard about those classic controls and how clunky that they can be, even though it's a remake. Yeah, I'm not bothering with it. But anyways, yeah, definitely one for you guys to check out if you've never checked it out before on the PS2 or the PS3. I'm going to stop running my mouth about that now. The next one that we have here is one that I actually had made a video on, as a matter of fact, discussing it. And a lot of people like it, a lot of people hate it. The game is really polarizing, but whatever, I like it. And that is Secret of Mana, the remake that was back from the Super Nintendo. I actually need to grind a little bit to go and take on this tiger kind of boss, because I haven't gotten to that point just yet. But everything that I've played so far, I really have been liking it. It's an action RPG that's beloved by a lot of people, especially back on the Super Nintendo. I have the cartridge of the Super Nintendo version. Well, obviously, I have the cartridge. I should say I have the Super Nintendo cartridge as well as the Super Nintendo Classic version, which is on, you know, the SNES Classic. or the ROM box, as people like to refer to them as. But anyways, I really have been liking this one. I haven't beaten it yet. Well, obviously, I haven't beaten the cartridge version or even played any of the SNES Classic version just yet, because I knew that this was coming out. If I knew that this was coming out, I would have never bothered to buy the cartridge. I mean, yeah, I wanted the SNES Classic for sure. I really do love the SNES Classic, but as far as it boils down to getting with the cartridge, if I'd have known this was coming, I would have said the hell with it. I said I would have never bought it. Kind of thinking about selling it, but, you know, haven't really gotten to that point just yet. But anyways, yeah, so 3D graphics, voice characters. The voices are kind of bad, you know, and I'd rather just turn everything off. I don't want to hear it in Japanese. If I'm going to read the text, I'm going to read the text. If I can't hear it in my own language, then I'm just not going to bother with it, because it's just not going to immerse me in it. It's not, if I can't understand what's being said. Upgraded gameplay, yeah, I guess you could say that. Anyways, yeah, so it's definitely worth it. And the funny thing was I was planning on getting this just digitally. I was planning on doing that. I was planning on waiting for a sale. But when I found out that they ended up having one copy left at the GameStop that I went to, because that's the only place where it's sold at, I ended up going there and picked it up. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sacrifice 40. I thought it was 30 at first, but it was actually 40. I said I'm going to go ahead and do it because I would really like to have a physical copy of this. And I don't regret it at all, but it's just going to take me some time to go back and grind a little bit and get back through it again. But yeah, guys, really look into this a little bit more. Look into it a little bit more if you're interested in it. Don't believe all the hate and things. I mean, everybody is going to have their own opinions and things about games, but you really have to form your own. I mean, for crying out loud, I ended up seeing a video of this girl who was upset at the fact that they didn't have some animation part or something when they got shot out of one of the cannons in the game that transports you to different areas of the map. She got upset about that because it was over a freaking piece of animation. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? You know, everybody is kind of getting upset about the graphics and everything like that. I'm like, you people knew what the graphics were going to be when they had all these trailers and demos and things that came out. You knew what they were going to be. Why are you complaining about them now? And, you know, and the soundtrack and all that, I'm like, well, you've ended up hearing some of the soundtrack and the trailers and gameplay demos. I don't get it. I don't know. People kind of pretty much knew what they were going to be getting in the first place, yet when they get it, they want to go and complain about it. Wow. The mind wanders. But anyways, regardless of that, that's definitely check it out for yourself. I'm really liking it. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. And if you want to kind of get a little bit more deeper about my thoughts on it, then just go and check out my video that I had posted recently regarding my whole thoughts on it. Yeah. But the final game that we have to talk about here today is a game that I ended up getting for $5 at a local game shop, and that is Vanetta on the PS3. I haven't really put too much time into this, but it's an action RPG. You play as this woman who, I forgot exactly what her abilities were, but regardless, I ended up getting this like for a few dollars on Steam way back when, try to get into it, and I'm not really a PC gamer kind of guy. I can't really get into it. So I kind of backed off from it, didn't go back to it, realized it was $5 on PS3, and since I'm mainly a console guy, I said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. Got into playing it some, have really been liking it. I just haven't gone back to really playing it just yet. So I don't really know too much to be able to say about this title, except that it's an action RPG and I'm an RPG guy. So yeah, but speaking of which, for the obviously Secret of Mana was 40, Shadow of the Colossus. I utilized my Gamers Club Unlock with Best Buy, so my girlfriend got a discount when she ended up getting that for me for Valentine's Day, and you know, so on and so forth. I already talked about the other prices, especially on other previous videos, especially the unboxing of Rated Historia, and yeah, that's pretty much been it. But anyways, I just wanted to do a quick little. Good God, I went on for 19 minutes. I never would have imagined that. But anyways, I just wanted to do a little quick pickups video here, considering I know I haven't talked about some in a while. And yeah, so anyways, I will go ahead and end this like I always do. Later, taters. Peace, love, and Cracker Jacks. I would like to get some Cracker Jacks, actually. I haven't had any in a while. Anyways, bye.